Some of the greatest minds that have ever existed in humanity expressed a united truth on one particular topic and amongst their individual pursuits of genius. That commonplace of truth was their awareness of the need for human compassion to encompass all living beings if we are to survive as a species. Yet despite this information being shared for over 2 millennia, the reality that we are presented with today on planet Earth is that we have been unable to embrace and build this into our reality. The consequences are devastating, creating all of the mayhem which we are trying to fix without first addressing this most crucial issue. Human compassion.
In this, there is a story of humanity to be exposed, to be understood. So it's a big topic. There's a lot in it. Point is fighting against people. It's something to be understood, or it won't change. We'll just keep reshaping what we call compassion. If it's not real, if it's manufactured, and we have to have enforcements placed upon us to be decent and caring, then we're not decent and caring. So that lack of compassion will show up in the world we build in other avenues of life. Even if we wiped out all animal cruelty on the planet, if it came from enforcement, it won't work. It's got to come from within. And people have to see it, and it's there to be seen. In reality, where do we sit? Not where we tell ourselves, oh, we're this, we're that. Let's just have a look, and how we treat animals exposes where we sit. More so than how we treat people. There's a lot less laws helping the animals, so it's more free to look at. It's more humans have more freedom to do what they want, so we get to see the true nature of what they do without controls. So we get to see the true nature of the human mind. We get to then understand what drives that, and how, particularly how, say, a female, a caring, compassionate, loving mother could also not be able to see the cruelty attached to the consumption of the food that they're eating and feeding their children. Any human being could quite comfortably say whether something is cruel or not cruel. Is killing okay? It's a simple question to someone. You know, so if they're going to eat animals, they have to say yes, killing and murder is okay. And if killing and murder is okay, then it gets down to, well, which law have we decided is okay or not? So this animal's okay, people aren't okay, but in war, people are okay to kill. So we keep changing it depending on the circumstances, how we justify what we do. And you can see in a world like that, the future of humanity is very predictable. We've always been cruel. We've always been selfish. We've always lived in denial. And for us to evolve, we have to face that aspect of our reality first. Like really face it, not just say, oh yes, I live in denial and I've got to get real with myself and, you know, I've got to get out there and be more motivated and think positively. That will do nothing to the collective journey in terms of what we're achieving. I have a dream that I'm going to wake up from a coma one day and I'm going to have all my friends and family looking at me smiling, and they'll say, no one eats animals, there is no cruelty on the planet from a human being. You know, and the relief that would be felt if that was the case. Rather than having to live in a world where we hide in our technology and our beautiful homes to disguise the truth of what it is we're doing to create this. This competitive spirit makes us be prepared to push pretty much anything out of the way as long as we can get away with it to get what we want. And to care for animals actually exposes the process of wanting beautifully, the want for that taste. And that's all it is. Think about it. It's just it's a taste, it's a sensation in the mind. It is powerful enough that we will ignore the actual death, the murder of that creature that has feelings, you know. And if someone doesn't think they have feelings, go spend enough time with them to do that. They'll understand that their feelings are very similar to ours. If you put nearly every human on the planet in the same conditions that these animals have to live in until they're killed, oh my God, would they cry and complain, and it'd be heinous. They'd be begging people to save them. It's time we look at this. Without judgment, let's just look at it. That should be enough, just to look at it. Shouldn't have to tell anyone what to do, you know? Whereas at the moment, everyone's telling people what to do, you know? One side's saying we should do this, the other side's saying we should do that. So I'm talking about creating a world where there are no should-bes. All we got to do is look at the truth, look at what's actually happening, and let that cleanse the system. Let that create a united process of sharing and thought on this planet. All I do is hear people saying that that's what they're looking for in life: peace, harmony, strength, confidence. Well, this is the pathway to it. And if you're going to ignore this topic, you know, the murder and death of other living creatures, then that's not yours to have, you know. And if people want to argue that against me, they can. I'm telling from my experience and everything I know, it's not possible. The two negate each other. So it's a very crucial topic.
Chickens and turkeys are arguably the most abused animals on the face of the planet. At the end of their miserable lives, chickens and turkeys are forcefully packed into crowded cages and transported for hours through all types of weather conditions without food or water.
People, you need to think about this. These chickens are being taken off to their death. They're going to be murdered. Every living creature in there will be probably dead by the end of this day, so you people can go, that tastes good. You don't need it to survive. So you can't use that as a justification. There's no point saying, but that's what we do, which I hear a lot of people that eat animals use that as a justification. You go to the restaurant and you get served a beautiful soft chicken breast fillet, and you eat it and look at your friends and smile and say, wasn't that delicious? How do you make that leap of thought where you say that's delicious, knowing that that's the case? Or don't you know that that's what happens? Because maybe that's what we need to show you. And if we do show you, is your response different? Are you still going to justify it? Is there still a level of denial in there for you? So the question to be asking is, why do we do this? Why do we treat creatures that are weaker and more fragile than us with such disrespect? We have to get together as a species and unite and look at ourselves more clearly. And that little example of a scene there is a representation of what's going on everywhere. And you'll notice if you look at other cars, nobody looks, nobody cares, no one even probably notices. You know, there might be a few people out there that actually take a look, but if everyone, here's the truck again, here come our poor little chicken friends. Look, there must be thousands crammed into that horrible little container. And those one or two animals you can save is so outnumbered by the millions that are killed every single day. So human beings can keep consuming and filling themselves up unnecessarily. Look at their eyes, look at its face. Oh my God, that is just disgusting. I grew up in a world that conditioned my mind to say it's okay, even though I was someone running around saving animals and feeling deeply for them. As my life progressed, obviously, you start asking the question, wait a second, this is a living being I'm eating. It's disgusting. It's revolting, let alone what we do to get it to that point. And yet humanity is holding themselves up as progressing and beautiful and pure and strong and real and full of love and truth and compassion. So I just want to know, if we're so compassionate, why does that exist? Humans think they're looking, but they're not looking. And the evidence is in that truck. There's something for you to ponder on and ask yourself what sort of person you are. And as I said before, have a look at your hand. Is that the hand of destruction that's going to quite happily, knowingly join in and partake in the process Because if you're eating a chicken, you are the reason that that is happening. Otherwise, there would be no chicken farming. They wouldn't be put in a truck in the first place. So you can't separate yourself because you're just the consumer. The consumer is actually probably the most responsible person for what drives those people that are capable of actually running a business out of the death of other living beings in the first place. Anything to do with creatures that are weaker and more powerless than us deserve more respect, more love and more caring than those that are quite capable of looking after themselves. Your hands and your mind are connected in creating the world that we see. What sort of world are we creating if we say that that is okay? Humans say, you know, we need to trust each other, love each other, build a world that's united, peace and harmony, take away racial differences. How are we ever going to do that with each other when we can't even take care of something as simple as a chicken? Think about it. I'll leave it up to you to come up with the answers.